Okay, here's part 4, high school algebra, and we're going to multiply polynomials by polynomials. So if you need to look at part 1, 2, and 3, go back if you don't know what polynomials are. And so we have this acronym here. Let's get our pen going, FOIL. And it stands for something, which I'll go over, when we're multiplying binomials. So let's get a clear page going. So remember, binomials, and we'll stick with red. So binomials have two terms, right? So let's say x plus 5, that's a binomial, right? And x plus 2 is a binomial. So there's two terms here. And if we're going to multiply them, so you see you don't need a multiplication symbol because 2 parentheses is multiplication. So we can use something called FOIL to multiply these two. So there's this acronym, and the F stands for first, right? First. This means outside. And I'll explain this. What do you think the I is? Inside, right? Inside. And the L means last. Right, so first, outside, inside, last. So if you look at these terms right here, look at the first term. This is the first term, and so is that. That's the first term. And if you see the outside terms, well, this is also the outside term. This is an inside term. This is an outside term. This is an inside term. Just look at each binomial separately. And what you want to do is you want to multiply, you want to distribute by using FOIL. I know it sounds confusing, so let's just do an example. So let's just use another color here. So there's one binomial, and here's the other one. So let's do it. So we're going to take the first term. This is the first term, and we're going to multiply it by the first term. So first to first, the first term in the other binomial. And x times x is x squared. So that's how I got x squared. So if we look at FOIL, we did the first terms. Now we want to do the outside terms. Well, remember, this is also outside. It's the outside term. And you want to times it by the outside term. And x times 2 is 2x. And it's positive, so that's why I put a plus there. So let's look at FOIL over here now. Now we want to do the inside terms. 5 times x are the two inside terms. And that'll be 5x. And then we have the last terms. 5 is the last term, and so is 2. And that'll be 10. Now, we're not done yet now. We have to, remember, combine like terms. And if you can see, I'm going to use blue, 5x and 2x become 7x. So this will be x squared plus 7x plus 10. All right, let's do another one. Let's clear this out. I'll wait about 2 seconds. 1, 2. Clear it out. Let's do another one. So what if I did, and we use green. Stick with green. Let's say we said x minus 2 times, let's say x plus 3. See if you can do that. Remember FOIL, the acronym, right? First, outside, inside, last. So what do you think we should do? And we'll use blue to highlight it out. So we want to do the first term times the first term. And that'll give us x squared. And you notice when you're doing these, if you have a 1 by the x, which remember, when you're saying x plus 2, there is a 1 here. But we just don't put the 1 in. We don't have to, right? Because 1 times x is just x, right? All right, so x times x, we did that. We got x squared. That's the first terms. Now we want to do the outside terms. That's an outside term. That's an outside term. And we're going to get 3x. Now be careful here. The inside term, we have negative 2 times x is going to give us minus 2x, right? Those are the inside terms. And the last terms, there we go. That'll give us negative 6. So when you combine these, it'd be x squared plus x. So it's 1x, but you can just put x minus 6. Okay? Now, some students have, if you look at this, they made kind of like a fish shape. If you need to do that to remember. All right, let's try this one by yourself. All right, so let me put a line here. Here's a line. It's a weird line. And let's say, we'll do x minus 3, and x minus 6. Two binomials. So pause the tape, see what you can get. All right, let's use purple. So again, first times first, what did you get? X squared, excellent. Outside times outside, what'd you get? Negative 6x. Always look at these signs. Inside times inside, negative 3x. And last times last, negative 3 times negative 6 is positive 18. Be careful with these signs. Negative times a negative is a positive. And then we have to combine these terms here. So remember, what you're doing here is you're saying negative 6x minus 3x. So remember, keep change. That's what it will become. Keep that in mind. Remember that. So this is x squared, right? Now we're going to have negative 9x plus 18. Right? All right. Let's clear this out. I'll give you 2 seconds. 1, 2. Rewind if you need to. What if we had something with a number next to the variable? Right? So let's do something like this. What if I gave you 2x minus 3 and let's say x plus 2? Try that one. What would you get? Again, now you're just doing the same thing. Let's use that color. 2x times x is now 2x squared. 2x times 2 is going to give us 4x. And now we're going to do negative 3 times x. It's negative 3x. And negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And don't forget to combine like terms. And we're going to have this. All right, always double check your work. All right, clear that out. There we go. Now, what if you had squaring? You're going to hear this term, squaring binomials. Squaring binomials. So if you said, let's say this, you saw this, you go, what is that? Well, all that means is this. It just means x plus 2 times x plus 2. That's all it means. And you do FOIL, just like we've done. Right? So again, you got x squared plus 2x plus 2x times 4, which is x squared plus 4x plus 4. So that's squaring binomials. All right, clear that out. And let's do a binomial now. What if I had a binomial, x plus 3, and we're timesing it by a trinomial? So let's say x squared plus, let's say 5x, and use 6. What do you think you'd do with this? So we'll change the color. Use green. So you're doing the same exact thing, in a sense. You're going to distribute. You're going to distribute one at a time. So let's just distribute the x first. X times x squared. What do you get? You get x cubed. X times 5x. 5x squared. X times 6. 6x. Now, you did the top. Let's do the bottom. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times 5x, 15x. And 3 times 6, 18. Now be careful when you combine. So there's no cubes besides this one right here, so we just say x cubed. So let's look at the squares. We have a 5x squared and a 3x squared. That'll give us 8x squared. See how we got 8x squared? And then we have a 6x and a 15x. What do you think that will give us? Exactly, 21x. And then we're just left with that 18. So you see, we took a binomial, times it by a trinomial by doing one term at a time with the binomial. All right. So in our next video, we'll talk about factoring. What about factoring polynomials?